the chilling depths of 16th century Hungary, a love story emerged that would echo through the ages, intertwining beauty, obsession, and unfathomable horror. Elizabeth Bathory, often dubbed the Blood Countess, became an infamous figure, known for her gruesome deeds and a love that spiraled into madness. Her tale is one of a noblewoman whose quest for eternal youth and beauty led to a nightmarish legacy, where the boundaries of love and violence blurred tragically. Elizabeth Bathory was born in 1560 into one of the most powerful families in Hungary. Her lineage was not just noble, it was formidable. The Bathory family had connections to high-ranking officials and military leaders. Elizabeth's childhood was marked by privilege, education, and a sense of superiority over the common folk. She was well educated, mastering several languages, and was known for her intelligence and wit. However, Elizabeth's upbringing also exposed her to the darker aspects of human nature. She witnessed political intrigue, betrayal, and the brutal realities of power dynamics among the nobility. Such experiences would shape her psyche, planting seeds of ambition and desire that would later grow into something sinister. At the age of 15, Elizabeth was married to Ferenc Nadasdy, a dashing soldier and nobleman. Their marriage was arranged to solidify political alliances, but it was not without passion. Ferenc was a charismatic figure, and Elizabeth found herself captivated by his bravery and charisma. Together, they embodied the perfect power couple of their time, sharing interests in the arts, warfare, and the supernatural. As Ferenc fought in wars against the Ottomans, Elizabeth remained at their estate, Castle Sasate, managing their vast lands and servants. However, their love took a darker turn as Elizabeth began to explore her own interests, which were increasingly macabre. While Ferenc was away, Elizabeth's solitude became a breeding ground for her darkest desires. After years of military campaigns, Ferenc returned home, but was soon consumed by the horrors he had witnessed on the battlefield. He became increasingly distant, spending his time away from the castle and withdrawing into himself. In his absence, Elizabeth's loneliness spiraled into obsession. With no one to anchor her, she turned to the occult, seeking ways to preserve her beauty and youth. Rumors began to circulate about her bizarre rituals and the increasingly strange behavior of her household. Young maidens from nearby villages were lured to the castle under the guise of employment, and many never returned home. Elizabeth, driven by her deteriorating mental state, believed that the blood of the innocent would grant her eternal youth. The legends surrounding her actions grew, and whispers of her cruel methods spread throughout the countryside. In 1610, Elizabeth's horrific practices came to the attention of the authorities. A Lutheran minister named István Magyari was among the first to publicly accuse her of witchcraft and murder. His claims were shocking. He described the disappearances of dozens of young girls, pointing to the castle as a place of torment. As the investigation gained momentum, more witnesses came forward, recounting their chilling experiences. An investigation led by the King's Court unearthed the nightmarish reality of Elizabeth's reign. A chamber filled with instruments of torture was discovered within the castle, alongside accounts of brutal punishments that included beatings, mutilations, and even the draining of blood. Those who escaped spoke of ritualistic ceremonies that Elizabeth orchestrated, her laughter echoing through the halls as she reveled in her power over life and death. As Elizabeth's life unraveled, her love for Ferenc, once vibrant and passionate, morphed into a twisted obsession. The memories of their early romance became tainted by her overwhelming desire to reclaim her lost youth. She believed that Ferenc's spirit lingered, urging her to continue her dark pursuits. In a way, Elizabeth became consumed by a delusion that their love could transcend the mortal realm. It was as if she was seeking his approval, driven by a need to maintain the beauty he had once adored. Her isolation deepened, creating a void that she filled with increasingly heinous acts. The findings of the investigation led to a trial, but Elizabeth was never formally charged or executed. Instead, she was confined to her castle, a prisoner within the walls that had witnessed her horrors. The very estate that had once been a symbol of her power now served as her tomb. Though she was isolated, Her legacy grew darker with each passing year. In confinement, Elizabeth's mental state deteriorated further. She became a ghost of her former self, haunted by her actions and the memories of a love that had spiraled into madness. Many believed that she still sought the elusive fountain of youth, desperately searching for a way to escape the grasp of age and decay. Elizabeth Bathory died in 1614, her life marked by tragedy and terror. Though she was never tried for her crimes, her name became synonymous with bloodlust and cruelty. The tale of the Blood Countess spread throughout Europe, transforming her into a figure of legend. Stories of her beauty, her obsession, and her horrific deeds inspired countless books, plays, and films, forever entrenching her in the annals of history. As the years passed, Elizabeth's story morphed into a cautionary tale of the dangers of unchecked desire and the consequences of power. While some viewed her as a victim of her circumstances, others saw her as a monster, an embodiment of the darkest aspects of human nature. In the centuries that followed, the legend of Elizabeth Bathory grew. Various interpretations of her life emerged, with some focusing on her as a tragic figure, a woman trapped in a patriarchal society that valued beauty above all else. Others portrayed her as a villain, a ruthless killer whose thirst for power led to her ultimate downfall. The castle where Elizabeth once reigned is now a haunted relic, a destination for those intrigued by the macabre. Visitors often speak of eerie occurrences, believing that her spirit still wanders the halls, seeking solace in the shadows. Ghost stories abound, each one adding another layer to the legend of the Blood Countess. At the core of Elizabeth Bathory's story lies a twisted romance, a relationship that began with passion and ambition, but devolved into obsession and despair. Her love for Florence, which once illuminated her life, became a driving force behind her darkest actions. The search for youth, beauty, and love led her to commit unspeakable atrocities, distorting the very essence of what love should represent. Elizabeth's life stands as a testament to the duality of human nature, the capacity for love and tenderness, intertwined with the potential for cruelty and madness. Her story invites us to reflect on the nature of obsession and the haunting truth that, at times, love can lead us down the darkest paths.